Hello and welcome to the International Long Drive Challenge from Montego Bay, Jamaica. We're at the historic Cinnamon Hill Golf Course, where Eastern Canada will take on South Africa, team number 2. And now to our host, John Bartlett, and our co-host, Rick Benoit.
From the beautiful Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, it's the International Long Drive Challenge as Eastern Canada takes on South Africa, team number 2. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm John Bartlett alongside Rick Benoit. Rick, the International Long Drive Challenge is an unbelievable chance to really showcase this sport.
Absolutely, and you know, these South Africans can really hit the ball, so I'm looking forward to an exciting competition between Team Canada and South Africa.
Well, everyone always talks about the excitement of golf. It's all about hitting the long ball, and that's what this sport is really all about.
And you know, really it's all about club head speed and ball speed, and these South Africans have got it all.
Well, we're going to see some great hits in today's show, so let's get underway. Well, here's a look at our rules and regulations for the event today. Each hitter is going to have 3 minutes to hit their 6 balls. We'll have 2 hitters in the tee box at the same time. The ball must come to rest inside the grid to count, and measurements are taken from the furthest point of the ball. The grid is 420 yards long by 45 yards wide. The clubs cannot exceed 50 inches in length, and all clubs must conform to USGA rules. And there's a look from the tee box, Rick, and that is what competitors will see when they line up to hit their ball. Gorgeous view here at Cinnamon Hill Golf Course, but the challenge begins as Mike Curl from Team Canada East will square off against David Melman from South Africa.
What a great pair, you know, out in the range. Again, these South African hitters, they are outstanding, and when they bring it to the tee box, they really bring it. They can hit a long ball, John.
Well, leading off first will be David Melman. And there is Mike Curl coming out as well, sporting the black uniform for Canada East. Team South Africa 2 in the yellow for this competition, and it adds a little excitement when you have the head-to-head hitters like this.
You know, absolutely, John, and you know, Mike Curl's been in the business of long drive for a very long time, a number of years, and when he catches one, he can really hit the ball. So let's see what these two athletes do.
David Melman will lead it off for South Africa with his first shot here as he lines up and gets set to go, and we'll be underway with Canada East against South Africa Team 2. And a solid shot by David Melman to kick things off. That one's going to go deep down the grid, a little to the right side, and easily will clear the 380 marker. And that's going to roll to 392 yards. Great shot to open things off.
Well, fantastic shot, and it's a way to open it up. You know, your first 3 balls are the most important 3, and you get that number posted, and then you really try and go after it after that. So we'll see if David does that in his next 5.
Well, the challenge now switches to Mike Curl, who has to try and top that 392, a big number to open up, and sometimes it's all about those first couple of hits, Rick, that you just want to warm up on.
Yeah, absolutely. Your first 3 balls are most important, and you know, Mikey's having a hard time settling the nerves down there. You can see in his first shot.
And that one is going to kick down, out, and roll back in. That's going to be good. It'll stop in the grid, just clearing the 340-yard marker at 341 yards. So at least he has one in the grid to go. But for David Melman, it's all about preparation in the tee box.
You know, visualize the shot. You know, try to stay focused, try and get the first ball in, and then thereafter hit it as hard as you can. This is all about hitting the ball hard. So you mustn't think a lot. Don't think about the other people around you. Just think about within yourself.
Well, he certainly didn't think about anything but a long drive. They are 400 yards on his 3rd shot, Rick.
And there you go. You know, David, class act and going after that ball. You know, he's got his first marker in at 392, and then he posts at 400, and that's exactly what these long drivers want to do.
Here's Mike Curl's 3rd shot now. His second one was out of bounds, but he's got a good piece of this one, looking better than his first one. That's going to sail down the grid and kick on past the 350 by the 360, looking good. That's going to come to a stop at 372 yards.
And, you know, Mike's got to be happy with that at 372. He's posted a number in his first 3 balls. Again, you know, better than his first, and he's got 3 more left in the bag.
David Melman now stepping up for his 4th drive here. 400 yards in his 3rd drive. Looking good. And he's trying to talk this one into staying in the grid, but it looks like it's going to sail away and out of bounds. And there it goes.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, John, when you try and overemphasize and get that little extra out of that club head speed, you end up pulling the ball, and that's exactly what happened to David there.
Back to Mike Hurl for Canada East and his fourth drive now, 372, his best marker. Hit that in drive number 3. And this one looks pretty good as it's going to stick its way in the grid, sailing out, keeping an eye on it, and there it is right down the middle. And that one will head just shy of the 370-yard marker at 367 yards.
Another good drive for Mike, but you know what? That grid seems to be faster on the right side. That left side seems to check up just a little bit.
So David Melman now lining up for his 6th and final drive. 400 yards, his best so far. Let's see if he can top that. Well, he got a lot of power behind that one, but it looks like it's going to hook its way outside of the grid. And indeed, it is out of bounds. So a chance for Mike Hurl here to see if he can hit the 400 marker as well now on his final drive.
You know, he's got one ball left, and you know what? This game comes down to one ball, John, and let's see if Mikey can pull it out of the bag right here. He's got 400 on the board, and he knows the number he's got to post.
And that's where the nerves need to be settled. You know the pressure is on you here when you have that last drive and your last chance. And here's Mike Hurl's 6th drive, and he sends that one out, but it is hooking a little wide, and it is going to sail out of bounds. But David Melman will take this head-to-head competition with a 400-yard blast.
And you can see the power in his swing. You know, he's got that great shoulder turn, good balance all the way through his swing and right through the ball.
I think the event was great. I think it's one of the best events that I've been to and put on. And beautiful resort, beautiful location. The course was awesome. Got a chance to actually play Cinnamon Hill, and it was a fantastic course. Actually, the biggest hit in the competition was in this event, actually. I ended up with a 371, so for me, that's actually a personal best in competition, so I was very happy with that.
On we go now to our second hitters. The ladies come up, and Debbie Peaver for Team Canada East will take on Liesel Differenthal for Team South Africa 2.
And you know, that's what's so nice about these team competitions. You've got the females linked in with the seniors and the open hitters, and that's what makes it such a class act event.
Well, the ladies give the old friendly handshake as they head up to the tee box for their opening drive. Liesel Differenthal will be the first hitter here as she gets her swing all set.
And again, you know, for first timers into the sport, especially the females, you've got, you know, nerves going, and you've got the crowd and the cameras. It's a tough gig.
Nice easy swing to warm it up, and that one is going to sail right down the middle of the grid. Looking good as it heads past the 300-yard marker and squeaks by 310. That'll stop at 313 yards. A great opening swing. Debbie Peave now talks on her thought process in the tee box.
When I'm on the tee, I generally just want to hit the ball as far as I can and just, you know, give it hell. This venue has been fantastic. We got here and it was just all set up. Everything has gone without a hitch, and it's just the most amazing event that I've been at ever.
Well, Debbie's first drive out of bounds. There goes her second one, and that will sail out as well. So a little bit of pressure in the tee box right now for Debbie.
Absolutely, and you know, that one was just out, but out is out, and she needs to post a number quick. She's got a long road to haul for 313.
Liesel's second shot was out of bounds, and she'll step up now for drive number 3. Remember, her first drive was 313 yards, and this one looks a little better.
You know, Liesel feels comfortable in the tee box now. You can see it in her swing, and she's trying to edge that one back in a little bit further.
And this one will roll past the 330-yard marker at 336 yards. Great hit for Liesel.
And Liesel's got to be happy, but you know, now Debbie, the pressure's on Debbie to post a score here for her team. She needs to get that drive in the grid at this point in time.
Drive number 3 for Debbie P. First 2 out of bounds, and that one is going to roll out of bounds as well. So the first 3 and nothing on the board for Debbie Peaver.
And you can see in that swing right there, it's really getting to Debbie, and the nerves are getting to her. She's got to settle down in that tee box, swing easy, and get one in the grid.
So 6th and final drive for Liesel. Her best drive, 336 yards, and that one's about 3.3 yards as she pops it up to second base. That one's not going to count, out of bounds, but still a great score on the board. And now the pressure on Debbie Peave. 5 of her drives have all been out of bounds. Last chance to put one in the grid here.
She's got to get this one in the grid. Let's see what she can do.
Well, she does get it in play by the looks of it. It's not going to be a long drive, but at least she'll get a score on the board to help her team at 228 yards. So Liesel Differenthal wins this head-to-head at 336 yards. What a gorgeous course here at Cinnamon Hill, and it's been a treat to watch hitters compete like this. But as Robert Ames, the Director of Operations for Cinnamon Hill, tells us, there's a lot of history in this golf course.
Cinnamon Hill's got so much history here that when you play the golf course, not only is it a golf experience, it's a historical tour also. Got the Rose Hall Great House in the background. Then you've got Johnny Cash's house where he wintered for 30 years and did all of his writing and his recouping from the tour. We've got the waterfall on hole number 15. That's where we filmed James Bond's movie Live and Let Die. Then you got the aqueduct on holes number 17 and 18, and right behind me here on number 7 fairway. It's just so much history that lends from the old sugar plantation, and now the designers did a great job of combining history with golf course, so it's a complete experience.
And a gorgeous course it is indeed, and after 2 rounds, it is Team South Africa that is out front, 736 to 599 in the total yards. But stay tuned, more big hitters to come when we return to Montego Bay, Jamaica, and the International Long Drive Challenge.
This portion of the program brought to you by Lanky Rat Creations, original inspired art.
Welcome back to Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica. The International Long Drive Challenge as Canada East takes on South Africa 2. And we continue now with our next hitters as Bill Stark will step up for Canada against Wesley Bennett for South Africa.
And again, you know, in these team competitions, it's so important to post a score for your team. If one of your teammates falls down and goes 0 for 6, that could mean a loss for your team in this event.
Well, there's Bill Stark stepping up again. Canada wearing the black shirts, while it is yellow for South Africa 2 here in our event. Third hitters of the day. And again, friendly handshake as both hitters on the tee at the same time here, which adds to the element of not only entertainment, but maybe pressure for the hitters as well.
Absolutely. You know, when you're in the tee box with another hitter and that hitter posts a 400-plus drive, it means you got to post 400-plus to stay in the game.
Wesley Bennett talks about how big this event is for him and his team.
It's awesome. It's by far the biggest event that I've ever competed in. It's hot, if I can put it that way. But it's awesome. We're having so much fun.
Well, and his first drive is a good one at 372 yards.
And again, you know, here we go again with that first drive. Get it in on that first drive or the first 3 balls. It's so important. And now he's put the pressure on Bill Stark. Bill Stark has to come up and put one in the grid for his team.
And his first drive is sailing out wide of the grid. And this one is going to be out of bounds.
And you know, Billy's no stranger to this sport. He's been around for a very long time, and he knows the importance of getting that ball in.
Well, both hitters knocked their second ball out of bounds. Here we go into the third hit for Wesley Bennett. Lines himself up, and oh, he got a good piece of that one. It's going to make its way down the grid and all the way to the end of the grid by the looks of it. And will it clear the 400-yard marker? Yes, it will, and just shy of the 410. 409 yards for Wesley Bennett.
Wow, he really got a hold of that one. You can see the shoulder turn and the follow-through on Wesley's swing. All power, great torque, followed right through, and a great score.
Third drive now for Bill Stark for Canada East here, and his first 2 have been out of bounds, but this one looks like he's going to park it right in the grid and get his first number up on the board as it will sail out, clearing past the 370, and now rolling right on by 380, and that will stop at 387 yards.
And that's fantastic. You know, that roll out there really helps the hitters out. But, you know, Billy's posted a score now, and he can really go after his next ball.
Wesley Bennett up for his 5th drive now, his longest 409 yards. That was back on drive number 3. Let's see if he can unload a big one here. Oh, wow, did he ever get a lot behind that one as it is sailing its way out into the grid. The crowd loves the look of this one as well, and that is going to clear the grid at 433 yards.
Wow, you want to talk about incredible. I mean, and pressure. He has definitely put the pressure on Bill here to come up with a big ball. Bill knows he's got a lot to catch up, and let's see if he can do it here.
Drive number 5 for Bill Stark here, 387 yards, his best drive. And that's a pretty good one. Bill's trying to cheer it on a little, but it's just going to get past the 350 marker at 354.
You know what? And sometimes when we try and hit the ball a little bit further, we actually defeat ourselves and take some of the power away from our swings.
And as we watch Wesley Bennett here talk himself into drive number 6, that's really something to talk about. Some people, you try to put so much power in it that you end up pulling the ball away from where you want it.
Absolutely, you know, and that swing right there, Wesley's all behind the ball. His head's behind the ball, great shoulder turn, and fantastic fall through that ball.
Bill Stark up for his 6th and final drive now. Well, Bill got a good piece of that one. Will it be enough, though, to catch the 436? That's one heck of a drive, and any day you're out on the course and you can hit almost 390 yards, it's a great day, but not enough for Bill Stark here today as that stops at 388. So Wesley Bennett takes the head-to-head competition here, and look at the power behind his swing.
You can see that great shoulder turn and a fantastic follow-through.
But as Bill Stark says, it's all about focus.
My focus is strictly on the ball and trying to keep my swing fluid and hit the ball as hard as I can. Earlier in the day, I hit some fantastic drives, and that was simply because I was more relaxed. So it's critical. You have to be able to block everything out, and you have to focus on your job, and that's to hit the ball. Really impressed me this year, and it's the first time we've ever had the South African group here with us, Quantum. They have a number of hitters that are performing so well in this event. I can't say enough about Gerhardt. He is the coach and the leader of the people from South Africa. His personality is fantastic. He hits a long ball. I'm really impressed with him and his whole crew. They've been great, good people, and fantastic hitters. Good for the event. I think it'll be really nice having them, and hopefully they come back next year.
So 3 rounds in the books, and it is Team South Africa that is out front, 1172 to 987 in the yardage. Stay tuned, still to come, the senior division, as Canada East takes on South Africa 2 in the International Long Drive Challenge.
This portion of the program brought to you by Stark's Golf Course. Great family golfing.
Welcome back to Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica, the International Long Drive Challenge as Canada East takes on South Africa 2. And we head now to round 4, where Bram Churchill will square off against Harold Coetzee.
A little bit of pressure here for Bram. I mean, he knows his team's down, and he knows he's got to hit that long ball and beat Harold here. So a little bit of added pressure for Bram, but Bram's a seasoned veteran. He can do it.
Well, that's for sure. At age 64, Bram has swung a lot of long drive golf balls in his day and has been in a lot of competitions. He knows what it's all about when it comes to the pressure and stepping up to the tee box.
And if anybody can get it done, I know Bram can.
Well, Bram Churchill will hit first here for Canada East. His first 2 drives have been out of bounds, and now will get set for his 3rd drive here, looking to score. Harold Coetzee, though, has also not put one in the grid just yet.
You can see Bram sets up way behind the ball. You just keep his head behind that ball and swings through it all the way.
And a great shot there for Bram Churchill, as that one will clear the 320-yard marker, right on by the 330 and stop at 333 yards. So he is on the board first.
You know, and again, I can't stress enough how important it is to get one of those first 3 in, and Bram did his job. So now Harold's got to chase him now.
3rd drive for Harold Coetzee. Again, first 2 were out of bounds. And this one as well is not going to head for the grid.
Harold's having a hard time out there, you know. Again, the stress and pressure for first-timers in front of a crowd and camera sometimes gets to you.
Bram Churchill now, the lefty, lines up for drive number 4, and that's going to be another good one that makes its way into the grid.
And again, mindset, in this sport is so important, both from a physical standpoint of view and mentally. You have to be mentally prepared as well as physically to compete in this sport. And again, you can see the roll in the ball. We haven't had much rain here, and that ground is hard. So the guys are getting a lot of roll out of their drives today.
Now Harold Coetzee up for his 4th drive. Still has not put one in the grid just yet. And this one is not going to make its way in the grid either.
He's really struggling out there. Harold's really having a hard time, and I think the pressure and the stress, he needs to just relax and take a nice slow backswing and calm down a little bit.
Final drive here for Bram Churchill, and that one is going to make its way into the grid. Past the 320 marker, 330, and looks like it'll stop just shy of the 340-yard marker at 337 yards.
Yeah, Bram's definitely in a groove and enjoying himself out there as per usual, no doubt.
Final shot now for Harold Coetzee. He has not put a ball in the grid yet today, and that is the way it's going to end for him, as that one sails well wide, so no score for Harold Coetzee as Bram Churchill's drive of 345 yards is tops.
And you can see, Harold had a hard time there, and his team captain is still behind him, cheering him on.
And as Bram says, when it comes to long drive, it's all about the practice.
In this sport, it's not a sport that you can actually come in, grab a club and hit. You've got to practice, practice, practice. You've got to be in physical condition and mental condition to be a long baller. And to me, it's you've got to just keep hitting. It's no good just going to 25 balls and say, well, I can hit the ball 300 yards. It's accuracy sport. You can hit the ball 350 yards, 370 yards, but unless you put the ball in the grid, there's absolutely no benefit. So it's a very tiresome sport. You got to be long and you got to be accurate.
And after 4 rounds, Canada has climbed its way back in and now out in the lead thanks to Bram Churchill in the win over Harold Coetzee. But stay with us. The 5th and final hitters for Team South Africa and Canada East still to come when we return to the International Long Drive Challenge.
This portion of the program brought to you by Joe Sutherland Rentals for all your television production needs.
Welcome back to the International Long Drive Challenge. Canada East against South Africa 2. Canada in the lead as we head to our final hitters. And it's our own Rick Benoit taking on Eric Vandervolt.
Bram Churchill really did a good job and brought the team back into the lead here. And let's see what happens in this set between Eric and I.
While we talk about pressure in the tee box, Rick, how about weather conditions and how much of a factor that can play on hitters when they're lining up to hit the big ball?
Absolutely. I indicated earlier about the rainfall. We haven't had any, so we're seeing a lot of roll out there. And the same factors apply with the wind. If the wind's in your face, the ball isn't going to fly as far, and if it's behind you, well, then it's a good day.
Eric Vandervolt will lead it off here with his first drive. And that one will take off on him and head out of the grid as it is out of bounds.
And you can see he's trying to overswing there.
From a competitor standpoint of view, you try and get into the tee box and relax as much as you possibly can. And in an event like this, when you've got athletes from around the world here and competing and trying to hit the ball as far as you can, obviously everyone's quite jacked up getting into that tee box. So it's tough to break the nerves sometimes.
Well, the nerves may be playing a factor on the competitors here today, as now it is the 4th drive for Eric Vandervolt, and he has still not put one in the grid, and that one's not going to land in the grid either.
Yeah, and you can see, John, that we're both struggling out there, and we know that this is a close race, and whatever we do in the tee box here is going to determine a winner and a loser.
And drive number 4 for Rick Benoit also ends up outside of the grid. Well, you guys are feeling the heat.
Yeah, we're having a hard time in there, John, no doubt about it. And again, in this close running race between these two teams, it's anyone's game at this point in time.
While the pressure's on, 6th and final drive for Eric Vandervolt. He has not put one in the grid just yet, and he needs a big score here for South Africa too, as Canada's in the lead. And you can tell by Eric's reaction that is not going to make it in the grid. It is out of bounds, and that will seal the victory for Canada, but still a chance here to boost up the numbers and the yardage.
Well, it's a victory for us, but again, you'd like to see me hit the grid, so let's see what happens here.
Well, the 6th and final drive for Rick Benoit to try and boost the numbers here for Team Canada. He knows by his reaction that one is going to sail out. Vandervalt and Benoit both out of bounds, but Canada will win the event. But Eric Vandervalt says it's all about the keys to success.
I focus on a few points to get the club as straight back as possible, to make your swing finish at the top, and just to make a good follow through. I'm using SMT DB head, 7 and 6 degree, and I've got 2 Adams 6.5 and a 5.5 degree. And then I'm using 4 House of Ford shafts, 2 XX and 2 XXL shafts.
Well, here's a look at the scoreboard for today. Starting with South Africa, Wesley Bennett, the big drive of the day at 436 yards, but David Melman also hitting 400 yards, so 2 of their competitors down near the end of the grid. And Bill Stark, the top Canadian, at 388 yards.
Yeah, you know what? Great competition, and again, it was a tough between Eric and I at the end there, and neither one of us hit the grid, so it worked out for Team Canada in the end.
And a close victory for Team Canada as they win just shy of 200 yards better than Team South Africa in the head-to-head competition here in the International Long Drive Challenge. And time now for the big hit of the game, and for that we take you back to Wesley Bennett.
And again, you can see here, great shoulder turn. He gets well behind the ball, stays behind the ball, and falls right through. Great shot.
436 yards, the big hit of the game, and the fans loved it here at Cinnamon Hill Golf Course in Montego Bay, Jamaica. It was a big hit for South Africa, but Canada East comes out as the winner. Well, Rick, a huge win for Canada in this event, but Wesley Bennett of South Africa with a huge 436-yard drive.
Well, first of all, fantastic event between both teams here, Canada and South Africa. 436 for Wesley Bennett, an incredible drive. Great club head speed. You know what? He really did a great job today for his country.
And what a fantastic venue as well for this international competition here at Cinnamon Hill in Montego Bay. The ocean overlooking the grid. It's wonderful for the competitors.
Beautiful location, Cinnamon Hill, and the staff and the people here have been fantastic with us. You know what? All in all, a great competition, fantastic venue. Can't ask for anything more than that.
Now, if you're at home and thinking you can hit the long ball too and want to take part in an international event like this and maybe play for your country, it's easy. All you have to do is go online.
That's right. Go online and look for the local qualifiers in your area, www.international long drive challenge, and you too can be a long baller.
Well, Canada beats South Africa in the International Long Drive Challenge here today. For Rick Benoit, I'm John Bartlett. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
For further information on local qualifying events, log on to www.internationallongdrivechallenge.com.